What if the greatest weapon anyone has ever used against you was your own emotion? Not your weakness, not your lack of intelligence, not even your circumstances, but the split second when anger surged, when pride reacted, when fear made a decision for you. Most people believe control means domination, raising your voice louder, arguing harder, winning visibly. But the deepest forms of defeat don't happen in public. They happen internally, in the quiet hijacking of your nervous system, in the moment someone presses a psychological button you didn't know you had. Why do certain people seem impossible to rattle? Why do some remain composed while others unravel? And why is emotional provocation the oldest tactic in psychological warfare? Today, we investigate a principle often echoed by Schopenhauer. The one who governs their inner world cannot be easily conquered in the outer one. Let's investigate. 1. The invisible lever. Every act of provocation depends on one quiet assumption that you will react. Not think, not pause, react. Emotional manipulation is rarely about overpowering you physically or intellectually. It is about locating the invisible lever inside your nervous system, the one connected to pride, insecurity, fear, or anger, and applying just enough pressure to move you. That lever is not random. It is built from your history, your unmet needs, your unhealed wounds, your values. The more personal the trigger, the more automatic the response. When someone insults your competence and you immediately rush to defend yourself, they have learned something. When they withdraw affection and you chase reassurance, they have learned something. When they question your loyalty and you panic, they have learned something. Each reaction is data. And in the hands of a skilled provocateur, data becomes strategy. Emotional leverage works because the human brain is designed for speed, not accuracy, in moments of perceived threat. A sharp tone, a sarcastic remark, a public challenge. Your amygdala interprets it as danger before your reasoning mind has time to evaluate context. Blood pressure rises, muscles tense, words form faster than wisdom. The manipulator does not need to shout. They only need to know which thread to pull. Think of it like puppet strings, not attached to your limbs, but to your emotional reflexes. If anger is predictable, they will bait anger. If jealousy is predictable, they will manufacture ambiguity. If pride is fragile, they will question status. The true mechanism is predictability. Power in psychological dynamics often belongs to the person who can remain unreadable while reading everyone else. When your emotional responses are immediate and intense, you become transparent. And transparency in adversarial situations becomes vulnerability. But here's the deeper layer. Provocation is not always malicious. Sometimes it is unconscious. A colleague who subtly competes, a partner who tests loyalty, a family member who reopens old hierarchies. The tactic remains the same. Press the emotional button, observe the reaction, adjust accordingly. Control over your emotions removes the lever. If the insult does not ignite rage, the lever slips. If the criticism does not trigger panic, the lever breaks. If the silent treatment does not produce desperation, the lever becomes useless. This is not suppression. This is sovereignty. Emotional control does not mean you feel nothing. It means the space between stimulus and response belongs to you. And when that space is yours, no one can easily move you. 2. The anatomy of a trigger. Not all provocations are loud. Some arrive disguised as jokes. Others hide inside concern. Some wear the mask of honesty. Others come wrapped in silence. If someone wanted to test your emotional weak points, how would they do it? They would not begin with aggression. They would begin with observation. Provocation often starts subtly. A backhanded compliment. You're surprisingly articulate. A comparison designed to shrink you. Why can't you be more like? A dismissive glance in a meeting. A delayed response to a message that once would have been immediate. Small experiments. The goal is not immediate conflict. The goal is calibration. Manipulators watch your micro reactions, the shift in posture, the defensive tone, the over-explanation. They note which topics make you speak faster, which criticisms you rush to correct, which silences make you uncomfortable. This is psychological mapping. One common tactic is baiting, a deliberate statement designed to provoke an emotional spike. It may sound like an accusation or a challenge to your identity. You're too sensitive. You always overreact. The irony is intentional. When you defend yourself emotionally, the provocateur reframes your reaction as proof. Then there's strategic disrespect, interrupting you repeatedly, minimizing your ideas, slight public humiliation disguised as humor. The purpose is not the content of the insult, it is the emotional destabilization that follows. And perhaps the most subtle tactic, controlled ambiguity. Inconsistent warmth, mixed signals, withholding clarity. This triggers anxiety and compels pursuit. When you seek reassurance, you reveal dependence. When you demand clarity emotionally, you reveal urgency. Each reaction teaches the provocateur how to steer you. But there's something important to understand. Not every person who triggers you is a calculated manipulator. Some individuals provoke because they lack emotional regulation themselves. Others learned relational patterns rooted in competition, insecurity, or dominance hierarchies. The warning sign is repetition. If someone repeatedly places you in situations where you feel compelled to defend, prove, chase, or explode, that is not coincidence. That is pattern formation. Healthy relationships do not rely on emotional destabilization for connection or control. They do not require you to perform reactivity to secure respect. So ask yourself quietly, are certain interactions predictable in how they make you feel? Does someone seem oddly calm when you're upset? Do they appear energized by your emotional spikes? That is not accidental. Provocation is rarely about the surface argument. It is about identifying the trigger that moves you. Once you can see the anatomy of a trigger, you begin to see the hands that pull it. Would you like me to expand Chapter 3?